Still to come, Doug Wilson, GM of the San Jose Sharks on After Hours with Scott and Kelly. San Jose wins 3-2 earlier tonight on Scotiabank Hockey Tonight. All right, Toronto, it's been said that you were offered the job 3 times this year, anything ranging from president to senior advisor to consultant. What is the truth of the matter?
No, Ron, I had good meetings with Toronto. I thought up to about 3 weeks before the season. Detroit was very good about it. They knew that I had been speaking with them, and you know, there was no problem about that. But I think when it came down to it, I had a very strong meeting with Larry Tannenbaum one day in mid-August, and I felt, you know, things might, you know, I was getting very interested in. And then he said, of course, he wanted me to meet Richard Petty, which I did, and I met Richard for an hour a week later. And then he said he would call me, which he did, and he said nothing too new to report. But his final call a few days later, he said that the season is about 3 weeks away. There's a lot of training camp games coming up, and he said we've decided to go with what we have. So I had pretty well put my cards on the table with Toronto that you know, for me to come in, it would have to be like a Brian Colangelo type of deal. They had experience with Brian and what he had done for the Raptors, and I said I think the only way it's going to work for me would be a Brian Colangelo situation. And I would put, I think they might have been concerned about how much time I was going to be able to spend, but Ron, I spent all my living time in hockey. I go to the games in Tampa. I'm on call with Detroit. I speak with Mike Babcock daily and Ken Holland. So, you know, even though I'm not behind the bench, I'm still 24/7, and I really enjoy it.
Right. I laugh when people say you want your own schedule. That's so you can watch hockey. That's your own schedule. Well, was it the $3 million? Did they buck at the $3 million that Brian Colangelo gets?
We never talked about money. I only said I think it would only be fair. I did speak once with Richard. I said, whatever you pay Brian Colangelo, and yeah, naturally I won't be the manager, and you deduct what you paid John Ferguson, we're talking about the same ballpark. But money was not an issue, I don't think, with them. It certainly was never with me.
So this sounds like another case of Tannenbaum just can't win the board. Petty has control of the boards. That sound about right to you?
You know, to get through I met most of the board members. I gave my resume of what I thought I could do. I told them what I felt the blueprint would be, because taking what I had been from Detroit and my other cities. And I don't know what happened between the time I left Larry Tannenbaum's office and the time I talked with Richard Petty in St. Catharines. I don't really know what transpired, because I'm not privy to any of the inner goings of the board. But I put my best foot forward, and I know I naturally had Detroit on the back of my mind, and I've been very happy right now working for the Red Wings and trying to get a good cup run. Right,
but you've groomed Kenny Holland, Stevie Yzerman's there, Jim Nill. They've got a lot of depth there. So if Toronto at their board meeting next week decides you're in again, we would like to have you, you'll take it?
You know, that's a pretty tough question to answer right now, because, you know, you're asking something that's real hypothetical, and you know, it's tough. It'd be awful tough to leave Detroit right now, naturally, after being, that's my loyalty, and that's where I want to win with, and we'll cross that bridge if it ever came to it, though.
Appreciate your candor, Scotty. That's great. Good luck with either choice. Again, our thanks to Scotty Bowman earlier tonight on Scotiabank Hockey Tonight. Matt Sundin. As the saying goes, stay tuned.